United States' rather undisciplined legislative parties allow for legislators to vote on bills as they please without having rules to encourage or force party members to vote together. This makes it difficult, especially for two parties, to get things done since there is such a wide variety of people forced under one party's policies. This problem needs to be addressed before adding more parties. John Adams, the second President of the United States, said, "There is nothing which I dread so much as a division of the Republic into two great parties, each arranged under its leader and converting measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension, is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution." The two-party system has divided this country into two irreconcilable teams, with the winner-takes-all electoral system suppressing another party from rising up. However, members of all parties need to be reminded that their jobs serve the purpose of making fair policies and justly governing the country. Party members and elections have become engulfed in pleasing their constituents and voting base and party elites to simply win elections. This process involves demonizing the opposing party and making a lot of promises that are often unable to be fulfilled. Having more than two parties can draw people away from compromising and choosing a side they find less bad or mostly right, and allow for them to have political parties they truly agree with and fair representation, all while keeping politicians more accountable to do their job. Democrats and Republicans fall on polar opposite sides on many ideological issues and policies, so having multiple other parties allow for broader and more neutral representation, which forces politicians to work together. Too many parties can cause problems, but 4 to 6 political parties would allow for more accurate representation of true ideological diversities in this country. This regulates cross-partisan compromise and coalition building, since parties would have stronger and more defined policies for people to stand with, and members would be forced to work together. Some ways the current two parties could break off into more effective parties are the following. Democrats could break into two groups: Social Democrats, a very progressive left, and New Democrats, center-left. Republicans could break up into 3 groups: Center-right Reform Conservative Party, such as Marco Rubio, Consistently Conservative Christian Republican Party, such as Ted Cruz, and the Populist Nationalist America First Party, such as Donald Trump. A Libertarian Party would also be added. Having a multiple-party system may give some other parties advantages to having outlets and a voice within the media rather than, "Do you watch Fox News or CNN?" which correlates directly to, "Are you Republican or Democrat?" without any second thought to whether the person may look to define themselves with a third party or somewhere involving both parties. Media outlets need to be very obvious about where they stand politically. Fox needs to be clear that it supports far-right ideals, and CNN needs to be clear it supports far-left ideals. People often look at these two sources for a sense of definition for the two parties when, in reality, there is a majority of people in both parties who may be concerned with some of the ways CNN or Fox portray the news. Media outlets are quick to attack the other party and be biased on the news they circulate, which sheds light on other parties' problems. This is very apparent when turning on Fox and CNN side by side, where Fox will be showing President Trump's achievements in the economy and news conferences he gives, whereas CNN is disregarding reporting any of this and instead is in an uproar over one of his latest scandalous tweets. Having more neutral and honest media can have a huge impact on clearing up fake news and giving people room to decide who they truly support and why, without being misled or deceived into voting for someone or hating someone because the only thing they are blindly fed are a person's achievements or problem. Majority of the population lacks the knowledge and skill to determine if news is real or fake for themselves, simply because they do not know how to fact-check and research for themselves. Educating the public on doing their own unbiased research into all the facts to form their own opinions can be beneficial to keep the media away from red versus blue and open up people to have more informational conversations.